Hello and welcome to the Patriot and Television Nigerian. Patriotism or national pride, in other words, is the feeling of love and devotion to one's country. Welcome to the Patriot, a platform where we discuss issues of national importance and inspired on how to love our dear country Nigeria. On this medium, we bring men and women and issues to the center stage to promote love for Nigeria, the giant of Africa. Welcome on board, and Peggy Shani. The influence which a nation exerts, the respect which it enjoys, and the prestige accorded to it on the world scene depends on two very important factors: the size of its wealth and the caliber of its leadership. These words were spoken by Chief Obafemi Awolowo, 3rd November 1961 in London. We will introduce our guests just right after this break.
I pledge to Nigeria, my country. So goes the opening lines of the 6-line National Pledge of Nigeria. Today, not a few, whether young or old, merely recite the National Pledge as a matter of routine or tradition, with their hearts being poles apart from the very spirit, creed, and essence of the pledge. Many simply do not understand its purport or feel the import of it, while many others choose to observe the pledge in breach only. Today we have decided to walk on the footpath of the very words of the National Pledge, keeping its vision and essence in our hearts, in our souls, and in our minds.
I pledge to Nigeria, my country,
to be faithful,
loyal, and honest,
to serve Nigeria with all my strength,
to defend her unity,
and uphold her honor and glory.
So help me God. Nigeria, no doubt, will truly be the giant of Africa, developed and well rated in all indices, if her national pledge is treated with sacred obedience. It's on us, it's our duty and responsibility to make this country a better place. Let's live the pledge.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying tuned. This is the Patriot and Television Nigerian, and my guest is May 11, a seasoned broadcaster, an on-air persona, the head of station African Patriot Radio, APR. May 11, welcome to the Patriot.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. Today, our focus on this episode of the Patriot is x-raying how patriotic the statements of our founding fathers, Sir Ahmadu Bello, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, the Zik of Africa, and now we will be talking about Chief Obafemi Awolowo. You know, we have spoken about the Sir Ahmadu Bello, and we have spoken about Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe. Today, who is Chief Dr. Obafemi Awolowo?
Well, Obafemi Awolowo is referred to in Yoruba land as Asiwaju. They call him Asiwaju Awon Yoruba, which means the leader of the Yorubas. Now he's also called Asiwaju Omo Odua. All right. Now he is one person. When you're calling the three, if you divide Nigeria, like we said, geographically, he was the premier of the West, the Western region, and a well-seasoned journalist as well, as he had also worked with a whole lot when it comes to publications on print media. Okay, he is a man who has traveled, who has learned. He was one-time Minister of Finance of Nigeria. That's in 1966. And if you look at he championed the cause for federalism. He was all about federalism, an equitable federal system, one that you can call integrity, or if you're looking at everything, how everything is balanced, proportion of how everything should go. He was more of having everybody benefiting from a nation they call their own. Now, he happened to be someone who had studied in the University of London, where he read commerce. He has a degree in commerce, he has another degree in law from the same university, and has gone a long way when it comes to championing causes, although some were seen in another light, but some were actually applauded because some made changes. For instance, if you look at what happened in 1954, where there was this change in constitution, he was one that advocated for federalism, which brought about the amendment in the Lightington's constitution as of that time. So he was a champion, just like how...
No, you keep talking about constitution, Lightington, this Magnifest, and all this type of thing. I didn't do government related studies.
Well,
so you just throw a little bit more light on this constitution. Well, was it right from the amalgamation right to date or what?
Well, you see, the Constitution of Nigeria started a long time ago. There were different constitutions before Independence Day.
Oh, wow.
There was constitutions, but it was like Nigeria was growing. So when you you're designing a structure, you now start finding out, oh, there are other things that are not in. That's why we all have what you call constitutional review. When you find out, oh, we need to know how to balance some other things that we left out of the Constitution. For instance, we need to change the system of governance we're operating. You now think and say, okay, we cannot be running with this one. It's not really favoring the nation.
So why do they call this one that we're using now the Constitution, 99 Constitution? Was it established in 99 or what? Well, when there are other constitutions that you keep mentioning.
Yes, those ones were of the past. First, there was First Republic, there was Second Republic. So as we grew bigger, there were so many things that had to be involved in the law. You cannot just operate with the same law that you used at that time. There were some constitutions that had to do with our colonial masters involved.
And now there are no colonial masters.
Who is Macpherson? Who is Littleton?
All right. Okay, thank you very much. All right, now, you have heard that statement.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, we don't go straight to the point because you're a man who goes straight to the point. The influence of a nation, the influence which a nation exerts, the respect which it enjoys, and the prestige accorded to it on the world scene depends on two very important factors: the size of the wealth, of the nation's wealth, and the caliber of its leadership.
That is a very
I want us to start to deal with influence. The influence which a nation exerts.
Well, when you talk about influence, you always have to wonder and ask yourself a question, which the answer is ready there with you. What is your influence on something? Nigeria in itself has a large influence on Africa. Like I said the other day, that is why they say the policy of Nigeria represents the policy of Africa because of what the nation has done, its influence, not just in the nation alone. Look at these people we're talking about. There were people that were not just fighting nationalism or looking for nationalism, they were not looking for independence just for Nigeria. I'm sure you know Nigeria was involved in many countries in Africa's independence. So you see the influence of a nation that is ready to fight for another nation as their brother man.
That is what influence that exerts.
Good. So now it has already given us that clout, that name, that recognition, that when the world is talking and Africa is called, the influence of our leaders, what they've done, because we all can't go out there. So our leaders represent us out there. They serve as our ambassadors out there.
Correct.
So the actions of Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe while in Ghana, while in United States of America, what the actions of Chief Obafemi Awolowo while he schooled in London has a whole lot to tell about how we will be perceived.
And so that goes to the respect which the nation enjoys. This is a statement that was delivered long time ago, and we're x-raying it. We have finished with the influence of a nation exerting.
Yes.
All right. The respect it enjoys.
Well, look at it. Where was that statement made? It was not in Africa. It's somewhere in New York.
Yeah, New York, yes.
I think somewhere around 1961.
1961, yes.
1961.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Now, that statement was made there, not because he took himself there and organized the conference. He was sorted to make a statement. Why was he? Because the people, the white man, has seen a colored man with a deep knowledge about federalism. He had the most systematic federalism concept.
I think it looks like he had the best ideology of federalism among the tribe.
He did. He was more into the angle of how the economy goes, how the people run, how everybody has equality when it comes to development and other structures.
So a country can actually move away from influence that it exerts and then moves again to respect that it has to enjoy.
Of course.
And then the next one is the prestige that the nation has on the world scene. Are you listening to the steps that is moving? What can you say about that?
The prestige is already there. That is what we talked about. The influence, the achievement, the recordings, the things that Nigerians have done outside this nation is what's being wowed at. In as much as most times we try to overlook them and say, oh, nothing is happening. Things are happening. People are making things happen. It's just that most times we allow these things get buried. We are quick to, whisper our accomplishments and scream out our failures. So it looks like, oh, it is not working. But somebody else is out there, and that person is actually looking at what we have. Take a look at how countries who came to get seeds to start palm oil plants, those who came to get Malina. There are too many things that happen. It's because we have what is drawn.
Appetite in South Africa.
Good.
We all donated one naira to save their lives.
Are you talking about Liberia?
Liberia, all the economic wars and all the leadership.
That's what we're talking about.
The army.
Rwanda,
we have also intervened.
You keep listing the names.
So, are you telling me that when we move away from the influence that it exerts and the respect that it enjoys, then it carries the prestige to the world standard? Now, let's talk about the two steps. Okay. Two major factors. The size of its wealth. Why did he have to use the size of the wealth and the caliber of leadership? Please.
Good. Now look at Nigeria. 3 geographical locations. 3 of them have 3 different types of mineral resources going on in those places. 3 with diverse cultures, because even culture is wealth. Culture is wealth. You look at the Yorubas and their set of cultures. You look at the Igbos, their set of cultures. You look at the Hausas. Then you now look at the mineral resources abound in Nigeria. It comes to a point you see, it is crazy we are still banking on one for existence when we have a whole lot. When people say, there's supposed to be like 10 or 15 rice mills in Benue State. There's supposed to be a juice manufacturing company. It just tells you we've not even started making money.
the size
of his wealth. So it's like saying we are a bunch of people, we're a nation sitting on our own future.
No, what do you mean? What can you tell me about the intelligence of Awolowo? Because I am telling you right now, sitting in the studios here, Television Nigeria, and I'm marveled at the kind of statement that he crafted. And when I went to read further those who reacted, they were top notch, I tell you. They reacted in affirmation that this guy, the speech was the best and the best at the time.
Well, Awolowo was one of kind in terms of being an orator. When you know, he already knew how to compose a statement to define what he is trying to say in his mind. So it was not, I don't think to him it was that hard to put up a statement like that. For someone who has worked with Nigerian Times, who also founded his own newspaper called the Nigerian Tribune, he is already used to the craft of words. He understood words.
He was the owner of the Tribune.
Yes. And you know, the thing about words is not just saying it, it's the confidence at which you say it because you know it.
Wow.
Now, apart from that, this is someone who had read law, who understood the law.
And then he also read commerce.
Who understood what the financial angle of Nigeria. So he knew a lot about Nigeria. They knew a lot about Nigeria to say Nigeria should come together. They knew the indivisible nation.
Thank you very much. As a premier of the West, what were the programs he actually championed that stood him out?
Well, one of them is that federalism, which is what we are still
talking about. Me too.
Yes.
Are we actually following federalism?
Well, some people call it quasi-federalism. That is not really the full-blown federalism as we think it should be. But at least we have a system that is better than the old system.
Did he establish free care? Free care.
Course,
What else?
In the western region of Nigeria, at that point, there was free education for the young. So there wasn't a matter of school fees. And also there was free healthcare for the young. So you didn't need to take your child to hospital. And that's a man who believes that the children are the future of tomorrow, so they need to grow and to grow well. So he made sure, one, grow and grow in health. Two, education is the bedrock of every nation's development. Therefore, it should be given to you for free if we really believe that the best things in life are free.
Wow.
So when you look at it, he had the plan. But he had some things about him that people perceived radical, especially when he was locked up in 1963, where they charged him for sedition. Sedition. And they thought he was trying to...
What is sedition? What is sedition?
Well, it's actually just promoting a rebellious cause.
Oh, rebellion.
As perceived by the government of the day, or by some quarters who...
As intelligent as he was still a rebel?
Well, you know, one thing is most of our leaders of those times came through rebellious act. If you look at the people like Fidel Castro and the likes of Ernest Che Guevara, they also were freedom fighters.
Yeah, freedom fighters.
At the point, they were even Nelson Mandela the Great was related or perceived as a rebel. And
all of them were arrested and incarcerated in the prison.
One time or the other.
Was Awolowo ever imprisoned?
Yes, of course. He was in prison from 1963 to 1966. Before he wasn't given a pardon. He was now released. That's when he became the Minister of Finance.
Oh, when he was released, now he became the Minister of Finance.
So is there a new thing if they say somebody left?
Obasanjo also became...
Well, I'm sure you know even the president was once locked.
Oh, was the current president?
Of course.
Wow.
There's a lot of story that goes on, but you see, the thing is, most of these people were fighting for a cause. And when you're fighting for a cause, when your desire is to reach that cause, you will not be deterred by what comes along the line.
We have been arrested also because we were trying to open the eyes of Nigerians on the issue of COVID-19, and they misunderstood everything. Well, that's all right. A minute, we'll talk about the incarceration at another time. But May 11 has been wonderful having to talk with you. I want to just address certain segment of this. Chief Obafemi Awolowo was born in 1909 and died in 1987. He died at 78 years. Ahmadu Bello was born 1910 and died in 1966. He died at 56 years. Zik of Africa was the oldest among all of them, and he was born in 1904 and died in 1996 at 92 years. Now, we have discussed this people between Awolowo, Ahmadu Bello, and Nnamdi Azikiwe. These three pioneer heroes of our founding fathers, were there lapses, when they were administering the premiership, the affairs of the regional government at the time?
Well, that will fall to the ears of so many, so I would like to speak for myself, okay? Because one thing about things like this, it's all based on sensation and perception. The way I sense it is how I perceive it, and I will bring it out. So if you look at that, like in the northern side, the problem I think started happening, of which Sir Ahmadu Bello was trying to fix, was when he was trying to make every person in the north to understand that the north was not centered on a particular religion. But some people had already taken everything out of context. Some people had looked at it like an ancestral thing. So they started looking at the storyline and looking at lineages and relating people to great people who had fought conquest in the past, who had to do the conquer and take over. So it became like, oh no, this is the cause he is fighting. And that divided the north. Because at that point, some of the states in the north that were not Muslims, that were not, what would I call it now? We're not Hausa, started feeling like, oh, they are trying to make us their slaves, or they are trying to make us do things their way, or everything they are championing is for their own good. They have an agenda separate from the north. They only put us in the north for the numbers. They started thinking we are in the north for the numbers. They want the numbers just to maybe win an election or something.
May 11, we're going to talk about the remaining three regions. We have just exhausted the first part of this program. But we're going to take a very short break, and when we return, we're going to deal with the remaining part of it. Thank you very much. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us. May 11.
Of course.
We were talking about the three regions, right?
Three regions.
Yeah, the lapses
of the north.
Yes.
So I would like to talk on that of the western side. I think on the western side, Chief Obafemi Awolowo had a thing to do more with those who were of like minds with him. I think he preferred people who worked with his own ideology, as we saw in the case of Akintola Ladoke, where Akintola Ladoke felt like he exempted them from power and had to go into what you call the NNDP. That's the New Nigerian Development Party. And also you would see that even Obafemi Awolowo, at some point had a problem with Akintola Ladoke, because Akintola Ladoke was his successor, who became the new premier of the West, and now started creating an alliance with Tafa Balewa's government
With the
of
North,
the NPC.
of the NPC.
Then when you come back to Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, his lapses was because we know him as the father of nationalism, someone who wanted unity.
Yes.
But what we don't understand is after all those powerful words, what happened in 1967? After the coup that took place, where all the serving people that were serving at that point were removed, of which he happened to be one amongst them, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, they were removed. And what happened next? The next year was the Civil War, and Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, who stood and fought for a united Nigeria of North, West, South, East, who talked about his parents being born in the East, or from the East, he born in the North and speaks the language of the South, was now one person who became the spokesperson of
The Biafra.
which wanted to separate
divided Nigeria at this point.
So we're now asking, what is it? You were quick to switch sides, even though at some point he now got himself back on his feet again and was he advised the late Ojukwu to end the war.
The coup was planned and executed by Major
Kaduna
Nzego, an Igbo man.
An Igbo man.
And then also the Biafran War was also championed by an Igbo man.
Of course.
Ojukwu.
But wow. You know, the major was not operating as an Igbo man. He possibly was operating as a military man.
Wow. Thank you very much. I'm going to, just on a final note.
Okay.
Yes. Out of these three regions that we have discussed about, the government of the regional government of the Federation of Nigeria at the time, the Independent Federation of Nigeria as of that time, out of the three,
okay,
who stands out in your own opinion as the best and why?
Okay.
Finally, were these words that were spoken by this great man falling on deaf ears?
Okay. Well, let me start with the first one you asked me. I would like to say I can pick from each of them if I want to go into leadership. But if you ask me one person that stood out for me where I learned, even from the person's failure, is Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe. Now, why I will say that is because in the course of the fact that he always liked unity, and I like it when we are unified because I know what our powers together can make. We are a threat when we are together than when we are apart. And apart from that, he was somebody that did what I like. He showed that people fall, but that doesn't mean they stay down. They can rise again. He went away from the ideology he had, a dream he chased, fought for, and decided to play along with a group that wanted to divide the nation. But when he realized, he came back.
He came back.
That is one. Now, coming back to your next question.
The words.
This
great words spoken. It appears as though they're falling on deaf ears.
Well,
or are they on fertile grounds?
Well, you know, the thing is, the words are like seeds. When you drop a seed on the ground, if rain doesn't fall and you do not water it and sun don't shine, it won't grow. So that is just the thing.
May 11, thank you very much for having to be part of this discussion this afternoon. Thank you very much. We can have more discussions like this on the series. We started with Ahmadu Bello, we went to Zik, and we have finalized today on Chief Obafemi Awolowo. Well, please, you can always follow us on our social media platforms, Twitter handles, YouTube and Facebook. Please drop your comments and tag along. This is the much we have for you on this very special episode of The Patriot. Join us again next time. Many thanks for watching.